What's up, y'all? All right, I'm back. Finally, it's like welcome back. It's been forever, ever since I have seen you guys, and I'm back in the car. I'm in my work clothes because I didn't leave the office till 7. So here I am. Welcome back to the Life Love Libido Show. I'm chuckling because I was texting with someone about an item for pleasure, and that said item for pleasure was working very well. And so here I am to have our normally scheduled programming. Hey, Dr. Ferlandi. And you caught me in the middle of a text that was super funny. So we're here, we're back. Welcome. If you are joining live, please say hello so that I can know that you're here. I see Dr. Ferlandi has joined us tonight. Welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. And it looks like somebody else is watching live. So hey Lamika, thanks for joining. So glad to see you. So we are back tonight. First and foremost, how are you guys doing? I know, stuff is crazy right now in this world, in our country. We're waiting for these election results, and I can say the only one of the benefits, I can't say the only, one of the benefits of having had worked today was that my mind was distracted a little bit from what's been going on, and the poll numbers and all that stuff. It's good to have you here, Dr. Ferlandi. It's good to be seen. She said it's good to see you, Dr. Brandye, because it's been a minute, right? It has been a minute. One has just been work. Like, I've been working, but I've been traveling and working. And so that's a whole other layer of stuff. And so that's why I haven't been here and haven't been going live like I normally do. But I'm back. I'm back. I missed you guys. I needed to be here. And so here I am, scrubs and all, head scarf and all. Here I am. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, one, I think, is just, I want to talk about what we are experiencing right now and some ways that you can take care of yourself during this time of uncertainty. Like 2020, I felt like today I was saying, this like every other patient. It was just like, you know what? Because 2020 has been a B. It has been just crazy. And I'm waiting for, the aliens to come and invade the world, because we've had pretty much everything else. So, I've been saying that, but one of the things that I think is important when we are thinking about how we can take care of ourselves, how we can, make the most out of some situations that we wouldn't necessarily sign up for, is to just practice some good self-care. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, some self-care tips, because definitely we need them. I need them for sure. As a matter of fact, I can't wait till I can go upstairs, because I literally haven't even gone upstairs to the house. I'm here in the car. I pulled in. I sat here for a second, got that text, then started typing the title for tonight's show, and then, I jumped on. So I have not been upstairs yet. Haven't seen the munchkin yet to be able to give her a hug and a kiss, although I gotta take a shower and stuff before I get in there and do all that. So anywho, before we jump into the topic of self-care during this time, let me introduce myself. I know some of you know who I am, and others may be new to the channel, so let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author of my book, My Oh My, A Committed Woman's Guide to Getting the Great Sex She Deserves. And I am a sex and pleasure coach for women. Now, I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get their sexy back. And one of the ways that we can get our sexy back is to make sure that we are taking good care of ourselves. So, common things that I hear in the office, in my coaching business, when I'm doing webinars and classes and things like that, is this idea that, I don't have time to take care of myself. And that is an unfortunate belief that we have, that we hold, that by saying that, we make true. Now, what do I mean by that? There's this idea, well, let's take it even further back. Okay. Whatever you think will be. Whatever you think will be. If you think something is good, it's going to be good. If you think something is bad, it's going to be bad. If you say it's going to be that thing. Our minds and our thoughts and our words are super powerful, and they are generative or creative, meaning that the things that you say will create your reality. The things that you think, the things that you believe, the things that are the things that you say, and those are the things that become your reality. So there's a couple scriptures that deal with that. One of which is, from the heart the mouth speaks, meaning what you have in your heart, that's what comes forth out of your mouth, essentially. There's other scriptures. Another one of my favorite ones is, as a man thinketh, so he is. And that kind of goes to that principle of, what you're thinking, what you believe, that's what you will see, and that's what you will get. That will create your reality. So one of the things that is very important in terms of self-care is making sure that you are speaking life for yourself. And when you say things like, I don't have time to take care of myself, you are creating kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you create that self-fulfilling prophecy by saying, I don't have time to take care of myself, then every time that need for you to take care of yourself comes up, that thought will come up and say, I don't have time to take care of myself. And then you'll go and do and be all the things to all the people and not to yourself. So I would encourage you to, one, take that out of your lexicon, take that out of your phrasing, take that, just don't even say that, right? Because everybody has 5 minutes. You don't, self-care does not have to take all day and be this big production and all this other stuff. Self-care is taking 5 minutes in the bathroom by yourself. Now, I have a teenager, and even having a teenager, I still be like, excuse me, hi, can I get some time in the bathroom by myself? Because the little ones, they like to come in, have conversations, ask you about stuff, do all these things, and you're like, excuse me, I'm in the bathroom. And they're like, but I want to talk to you, I love you, mom. And it's like, Can I get 5 minutes? Can you close the door? I need 5 minutes. So everybody can get 5 minutes. Now, do we need more than 5 minutes? Of course. But if you are not used to taking any time for yourself, 5 minutes is 5 minutes of heaven. Okay? And there are some things that you can do during those 5 minutes. Something as simple as just closing your eyes and breathing will reset your system. It will reset your mind. It'll reset your body and kind of shift those stress hormones down, because that's for sure what we need, especially now. So take 5 minutes. If you can just take 5 minutes a day for yourself, that counts as self-care. It does not have to be a big production, right? So what else can we do for self-care? Because another idea of self-care is that it's pedicures, manicures, going to the spa, going to get a massage, things like that. And that counts for sure. But there are other things that count as self-care. Namely, setting boundaries. That's self-care. Saying, identifying the things that are important to you and going after them. That's self-care. Using your voice to put forth ideas that need to be put forth. Using your voice in defense of other people. Because for some people, their purpose in life is to make sure that other people are not taken advantage of, and they have this sense of justice. And actually that's what my daughter has. Like, if anybody around her is being mistreated or any of that stuff, she is the first to jump up and say, no, this is not right, and da 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 da. And she has this definite sense of purpose where it comes to justice. And so for her, self-care means that she needs to voice those things. Because if she holds on to them, then it actually can cause her physical harm. It can cause her not to feel in alignment. It can cause her to feel sad or depressed or anxious and things like that. So when we're thinking about self-care, yes, it's nice to get pedicures. Like, I don't know how long it has been, maybe 3, maybe 4 months since I've had pedicure. It ain't pretty, let me just say. But I love my pedicures. I love getting pedicures. I love when they put the little design on my toe and all that. That's my thing. If I don't do nothing else, that's my thing, right? But that's not the end all be all. When it comes to self-care, you actually, there are other things that qualify as self-care. Making sure that you are eating cleanly is self-care. Making sure that you're moving your body is self-care, right? Like, it doesn't have to be, okay, I want to go to the gym and I'm going to, run on the treadmill for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to do this, I'm have a leg day and do my squats and da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't have to be all of that. You can have a dance party in your living room. 10 minutes. That's self-care. So, self-care is important. One, because it resets everything. If you are doing things to help your own sense of well-being and keep your own outlook on life positive, that's always good. And it helps if you have that foundation when we're going into times that can be challenging, can be overwhelming, can be frustrating, can be things that cause us to, scratch our head and like, I don't understand. So those are two things about self-care that I wanted to make sure that I talked about. And actually, I had some other stuff that I wanted to talk about as far as self-care, but then those two things needed to be said first, I think. Okay. Dr. Ferlandi said, as a man thinketh, so is he. That's right. That's right. And she loves pedicures. Girl, me too. That's why we're friends. Because we both love pedicures. That's why we're friends. So what are some other things that are good self-care items? Put it in the chat. What do you think of when you think about self-care? What are some good things that you do for yourself for self-care? For me, I journal. I'm a big journaler. I find that I can express myself much better when I write things down. Because half the time I'm in my head, and I'm a lot of times I'm arguing back and forth with myself. Like, okay, these are the things that are going on, and these are the things that I'm feeling, and then I'm coaching myself on the other side, and I'm like, but da 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 da, and what about this, and da 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 da. And so if I don't write it down, it gets all jumbled up in my head, and I get super tired, and I'm just like, I need to take a nap because it's too much. It's too much going on. So I journal so that I can keep my sanity, and I don't run myself ragged from the mental acrobatics that happen in my head, right? So that's one thing that I do for self-care. Another thing that I do for self-care is singing. Now, depending on the song, depending on what's going on, that could be very, very therapeutic. Just to use your voice to belt out whatever song and just sing it with all your heart, sing it with all that you got. Just let it out. And that sometimes for me, especially when I get frustrated, when I'm frustrated, if I can sing a good song, I'm good. But yeah, tell me what you guys do for self-care, because I have a couple things. I paint sometimes. I'm not very good at painting. No, I'm not very good. But the process of putting colors on a canvas is very relaxing for me. And depending on what I create with the painting, sometimes it's more of an abstract thing. Sometimes it is more of, a structured like image or picture that I'm trying to recreate. But whatever it is, just that process of putting paint to canvas is very cathartic for me. So those are some of the stuff that I do. Those are some of the things that I do for self-care. Dr. Ferlandi said take a walk. That's awesome. Yeah, I do take a walk too. It's self-care. There have been many days. I remember when I was in residency, and I would come home, and I didn't realize at the time that I was angry and frustrated and just like irritable. And yeah, it wasn't good. But I would go for a walk. And of course this was mostly during like the spring and summer times, because where I was, it was cold most of the time. And we got snow and all sorts of stuff that your girl wasn't used to, because I'm a Cali girl, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, this right here, what's this white stuff on the ground? I can't. So definitely it was happening in the spring and the summertime where I was. But I would go on walks, and what I found was being out in nature really did help my mood and help me to calm down and relax. So sometimes you got to move your body, whether that's dancing, whether that's walking, some other form of exercise, just moving, right? And so that's some of the other stuff that you can do, that you can think of as self-care. Self-care is sitting and having a cup of tea. There's so many things. Maybe I should come up with a whole list of stuff. Maybe I should just put together a list, and then you can check off what you'd like to do, depending on how much time you have. Because sometimes we have a lot of time. Like if you got a whole half day, a whole day, you can do a lot in terms of self-care. And if you only got 5 minutes, you can still do a lot with self-care. Because it's not about the length of time. It's about the quality of the activity and your intentions behind it. So self-care, right? Now, another topic, or another facet, let's put it that way, another facet of self-care, especially being that you're talking to a sex and pleasure coach, another facet of self-care is sex. And I know some of you may not want to hear that, because you're like, whatever, sex, I could take it or leave it. I don't really want to. I do it because my partner wants me to. I don't do it because I really want to. I don't do it because I enjoy it. Well, I'm here to tell you that sex as self-care is a thing. That's the first thing. It is a thing. Second, sex as self-care is a great practice. Now, how do you have sex as self-care? Like, what do you do? Like, are you just, having sex and it's like, okay, that's my self-care time? No, that's not how it works. So sex as self-care, again, starts with being intentional. You got to be intentional about what it is that you're doing. Now, a lot of times I talk to women and they're like, I'm not interested in sex. I'm not having a good time, and I'm just doing it for the other person. Well, I want you to know, first and foremost, that you were made for pleasure. You were made not only to give pleasure, but you were made to receive pleasure. And the reason that we know this is because there's been studies. There's actually been studies to show that there are pleasure centers in the brain, and those pleasure centers in the brain light up when you have sexual activity. So we know that we were made for sex and made to enjoy sex. Women too, women and men. Sonia said maintenance men. Well, I can't even, but yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the maintenance men, Sonia. But so sex is self-care. So one, just being intentional and setting the intention that you are going to enjoy sex is really the bottom line. And if you are not enjoying sex, if it's not fun, if you're not having orgasms like you want to, that's a problem. And there's stuff you can do about it, for sure. Like, there's plenty of things that you can do to ensure that you are having a good time in the bedroom. It doesn't have to be, all bad at all. At all. Trust me. Trust your girl. And if you need help in that area, then get on my schedule at drbrandyeobgyn.com and we'll talk about it. Because I have no problems telling you. My daughter will tell you. Because she's tired. She's up to here. We're hearing about sex and pleasure. So, yeah. We can talk about it, though. But sex is a form of self-care. Now, like I said, first and foremost, our bodies were made for pleasure. Men, women, our bodies were made for pleasure. Secondly, the next, I guess, tenet for how I know that sex is a form of self-care is that when you have sex, it does one of the main things that self-care is supposed to do for you, which is decrease your stress. Sex as self-care decreases your stress levels. It decreases your stress hormones. It also will boost your immune system. So we're all out here worried about COVID and our immune systems and trying to bolster them in natural ways. Well, have some good sex. It'll boost your immune functioning. Now, I'm not saying sex is the cure for COVID. I'm not saying that it is the prophylactic for COVID, but we can definitely add it to our arsenal of things to keep us safe during this time. Okay? The other benefits of sex are, and we talk about these all the time, lower blood pressure, lower your heart rate. It decreases your sympathetic tone, which is that fight or flight issue that comes up from major stress. It will help to decrease your awareness of pain, especially with migraines. Also, chronic pain sufferers. If anybody has a chronic pain condition, orgasms particularly. Sex, it depends on how you're doing it, the positioning and all that stuff. You may have to modify depending on your pain condition, but the orgasm actually is what is helping to decrease that awareness and sensation of pain. So headaches, menstrual cramps, chronic pain, sex helps. So definitely, if you struggle with any of those things, you want to add sex to your treatment plan. And if you're without a partner, there are ways to handle that too. Again, jump on my schedule, Brandye, OBGYN.com. Like I said at the top of the show, I was texting with someone about a specific item that was helpful to her. So yeah, jump on my schedule. Sonia said it releases endorphins, dopamine, which helps our mood, attention span, and focus. Yeah, it sure does. Not only that, it helps with your bonding, as far as bonding with your partner, because of another hormone called oxytocin. And that oxytocin actually helps with arousal too. So it's a win-win. And then you got serotonin stuff and estrogen. Those are so helpful. Amber said menstrual cramps. Yes, it helps with menstrual cramps. It does. It helps with PMS too, but it helps with menstrual cramps. So it has so many benefits to you. There's so many benefits to engaging in sex, having good sex, and having orgasms. So if you are not having them, if you are not having good sex, you're not having orgasms, not having good orgasms, because bad orgasms are a thing too. Maybe we'll have a show on that. We'll talk about bad orgasms. I think I did a little bit in a previous show, but maybe we'll do a whole thing on good orgasms, bad orgasms, so you'll know the difference and you'll have some strategies for making sure of what you can do. Was it a flower? Was it a flower? No, it wasn't a flower. It was something else. It was something else, Amber. If you want to know offline, just PM me. I'll let you know. It was something else though. Yeah. So sex and self-care is very, very important. The other piece of sex as self-care, so we talked about our bodies being made for pleasure, to receive pleasure, not just to give it. We talked about the importance of actually having sex, because it has some benefits, especially with stress relief and your or boosting your immune system and decreasing that fight or flight sensation and decreasing your pain awareness and sensation. But sex as self-care is also a great way to connect with your partner. So even though we have been in this pandemic since March and sheltering in place, there still are a lot of people, a lot of couples, a lot of, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, dating couples that although they are sheltering in place together, they are not together. They're not connecting like they need to, and they're not having great sex. As a matter of fact, they're having less sex, which is kind of funny, because you would think one of the main issues is we're so busy, we have so much going on, we're in and out, that we don't get a chance to connect with our partners and have sex. Well, the pandemic has shown, the pandemic is called bullshit on that. Really. And yeah, I'm sorry to cuss about it, but it has called BS on that. Because even now, we're together and still not having good sex, not having sex on a regular basis. And I think it boils down to us actually not connecting, not having the tools and the skills to connect with our partners, and just being so out of practice with it. Because in the beginning of our relationships, we're all attentive and focused, and we want to know everything about our significant other, right? And then when we get into the relationship, especially if it's long term and all that stuff, we feel like we know everything about the other person. Like, a lot of times we can predict what they're gonna say. We could probably finish their sentences. They could probably finish our sentences. We kind of know, we feel like we know everything that there is to know about them. And so it just becomes mundane, and we take them for granted. And it's just like, whatever, that's just him. That's just her. And so there's no real connection that is maintained, because we feel like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then we fall into our routines, and we do the same things over and over again. And then we get bored. And then we're like, okay, well, I don't like this because it's boring. We do the same thing over and over again. But we don't feel comfortable voicing that we want something different, because we don't feel like we are connected to our partners, and we don't want to rock the boat. Because if we rock the boat, then they might leave, things might fall apart, and yeah. So that's a whole other conversation. That's another live. So maybe we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, it is a way for connecting. And like I said, that hormone oxytocin is one of the hormones that helps you with bonding and connecting. So if you're having sex, you are connecting. You're making a connection with somebody. So, and that's important. Because if we are not connected, if we feel separate from those around us, if we feel like we are isolated or on our own, we don't do well. We weren't made to live in isolation. No man was made to be an island. We were actually made to be in relationship with each other. Whether that's friendships, family relationships, intimate relationships, we were made to have relationships. And so when we don't have those connections, it does not go well for us at all. So yeah. So that's all I got, guys. Let's see. Did anybody put anything else? I think Dr. Ferlandi was the one who put in about she liked to take a walk. She likes to take walks for her self-care. What else do you guys like to do for self-care? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. I want to know. I know what I like to do, but I like to know what you guys like to do. So put it in the comments, because yeah. And then also, we are in November now. It seems like this year has gone by so slowly, but so fast as well. Like, I was literally talking to a patient today, and she was like, I can't believe that it's still not time for me to take out my IUD. She was like, it feels like it's been 5 years already. And I'm like, you know what? You are right. Like, it feels like it should be 2025 right now. So it just feels like so much has happened and so much has transpired that it could not have happened in the last 8 months. So yeah, tell me what you guys like to do for self-care. Put that in the comments. And if you're catching this on the replay, still put it in the comments, because I want to know. And also say hi, because I want to know who came and said hey and hung out with us virtually, because it's important to me. I want to build relationships, and I like building relationships with the people who I talk to on my lives. So yeah, say hey and let me know what your best self-care tips are. But in the meantime, I'm going to have a special announcement on Friday night with Dr. Brandye After Dark, because we are bringing it back. Now that I'm not working like a Hebrew slave, I can come back and do my regular scheduled programming. So on Friday, we are bringing back Dr. Brandye After Dark, and there will be a big announcement. Now, if you've seen my posts over the last couple of weeks, there haven't been a whole lot, but I've been posting that I've been recording videos and doing all these things. And so the last post that I did, I was like, if you want to know, what is going on, then, direct message me or private message me if you want to know when all these videos are going to drop. And so on Friday, we're going to talk about that. And also, just in preparation of that, there's going to be a big announcement for people who are on my VIP list, on my VIP email list, right? So how do you get to the VIP email list? The VIP email list is a special list that you go to jumpstartthejumpoff.com and get on it. And you get a special gift just for getting on it. Just Jumpstart the Jump Off. That's where you need to be. So that you can have access to what it is that I am going to be talking about on Friday. Okay? So make sure you go to jumpstartthejumpoff.com. And it's in the title of this, but it's jumpstartthejumpoff.com. I'm on the struggle bus right now. Trying to spell. I'm picturing it in my head. Like, wait, did I say all the right letters? I'm tired, y'all. I have got to get out of here and go upstairs, take my shower, and get ready to go to bed because I am just done. I'm done. But thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Dr. Ferlandi. I saw Anel on here for a little bit. I saw Dr. Charlotte on here for a little bit. So thank you all for jumping on. And I will see you Friday at 8:30, Friday night, 8:30, right here for Dr. Brandye After Dark. And we will go and make the big announcement, but we're going to talk about some good stuff on Dr. Brandye After Dark too. So make sure you show up. And in anticipation of the announcement, if you are not already on my VIP list, get on my VIP list by going to jumpstartthejumpoff.com, and you'll get a special gift just for getting on the VIP list. Okay? All right. I will talk to you guys on Friday. Bye.